Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and I've managed to catch a dry spell in the weather here, although I don't think it's going to last for very long, and my neighbour's doing more sawing next door, so it's probably going to keep interrupting the video, but we'll try and rush through it. It's actually the first Sunday in November, and this is normally the month I do my last of the garden tours. I don't bother with one in December because by December there's nothing to show at all, but there's still a few things of interest out and about in the garden, so I'm going to do a quick walk around before it gets too dark or pours with rain again. So we'll start with my medlars, which seem to be progressing very nicely. These won't actually be normally not ready until they're frosted. They're a very good size now, but they're still hard. Normally when they've been frosted they call it bletting, and that then leaves them to be edible. Probably wouldn't eat them fresh, but you can make them into like a jam or a jelly. So I'm very pleased with how they've done this year. Tucked away behind here is what I believe to be the remains of my Myers lemon. It does seem to have grown from above the graft. It's the only stalk that's come out, but I won't know until eventually it flowers, if ever. And obviously I'm going to try and protect it this winter as well. Camellia's developing flower buds nicely, so that's going to flower. It looks like it's going to flower early in winter this year. The first pineapple guava to look at, which interestingly hasn't dropped a single fruit yet, is my variety Mammoth. It seems to be later than the others. It's the only one that's got half decent sized fruits on it. They're not as big as last year. Joe's have done very well, but mine have been a little bit disappointed with. That's quite a good sized one, and I believe there's quite a good sized one around the back as well that's quite a good length. I've bagged a few of them to save them when they fall, but there's quite a few I've left unbagged, which will obviously drop off when they're ripe. But it seems to be, as I said, much later than the others. I'm walking around with a bit of a quagmire here because it's just rained and rained and rained and rained. Blueberries have got a lovely colour. Interesting that, you know, they do put on such a lovely display at this time of year. Next to the blueberries I've got my unnamed seedling pineapple guava, which I've just featured in the video. One decent size, 2 or 3 decent sized fruits on it, certainly an edible size. Nothing has dropped off it at all at the moment, so like the Mammoth it seems to be later. I've got a fruit I discovered on my in-ground persimmon, which I featured recently in a video. It's got one fruit set on it. I thought it was a male plant, to be honest, but I have heard that they can sporadically produce female flowers even on a male plant. It is only an unknown seed grown one. It's meant to be an Asian persimmon seedling, but even the leaves seem quite small and not typically what I'd call Asian persimmon, but I don't know for sure. We'll find out if the fruit ever matures, and I'm wondering if it's a lotus seedling. But it's interesting to see a fruit on it. Pomegranate has now gone very yellow. The fruit's still hanging on it. I'll probably cut this before the first frost come, just to open it up and see what's inside it. You can see him drilling away now, or cutting away. My Triumph still has a few smallish fruits on it that haven't fallen yet. I've been picking them off the floor at quite a regular pace and eating them. They've been very small this year. Here's another small one that's dropped, very small size. Let's just wipe that off so I don't get myself too muddy with it, because the ground's so muddy. Obviously every time I pick these things up I get very muddy on them. I can't see any. I think there's one drop down there as well. There's another one, but it hasn't had many fruits on it this year, but nevertheless still got a few. Okay, so this is my, let's see, right, this is my seedling pawpaw, so I need to pick that. That's dropped, and this is the last fruit on it that's dropped as well. So I'm actually just going to pause the video and I'll pull these off and pop them on my table. Back to you in a second. Okay, so that's a little bunch of fruits. Now that split one there was split early in the summer. So that probably won't be edible, but the other 3 are going to be fine, and that one looks nice as well, so we'll probably do a tasting on that at some stage, or at least I'll do a tasting on one of these seedling fruits and do a direct comparison with my Prima. Let's just walk back to where I was on the tour very quickly. Look at the mud down here, it's just ridiculous trying to walk around in this. So that's the last of the fruit this year on my seedling pawpaw. I guess it's turned out about, I think I've had about eight or 9 fruits on it, a couple of which I sent to friends, so pleased with how it's done. And it's already got the new buds developing for next year. These will be the flower buds. These swollen buds on the stems will be the flower buds for next year, so it's going to flower. There's more there. And of course we've grafted a couple of varieties onto this that may or may not come up in the spring. That remains to be seen. Can't even see where both grafts are, but I know they're around here somewhere. They are labelled, so oh, here we are. There's one here. Okay, so this is a this one's the Shenandoah, and that one's done well this year. The other graft, a bit dubious, but we'll see. You can see I've got the light runs for about 8 or 10 hours a day in my summer house. I haven't put all the other plants in there yet, just a handful of them, and soon I'll be moving the tropical one there. That's my canistil that's going to come out of there and go into the house, and then I'll have room for a lot of citrus in there. Moving around, looks like the figs are all going dormant now. Nothing to report at the back. Cherry guava's doing fine. I planted the Passiflora caerulea. There's no flowers left on my maypop now, but it hasn't died back at all because we haven't had any cold weather. This is the luma that's going to be removed. Very quickly, let's have a quick walk around the back here if I can manage to get through. Again, it's like it's just like walking in a swamp here. Look at it, ridiculous. The reason I'm coming back here is because I noticed another pawpaw that has dropped, and this one's a Prima. Maybe they've both dropped, I don't know. Yep, one's just fallen on the floor. Let's see if we can retrieve that, or it's in a bag still. So those 2 are Prima that have fallen. My persimmons seem to be progressing nicely. This is a costata. Don't know if that's a stringent one or not, I'll have to look it up. My Nikita's Gift. Got quite a lot of discoloration on them, but I think they'd still be edible. There's quite a few on there. The Rojo Brillant aren't changing colour yet. Let's carry on the walk, if I can find my way through the swamp. Surprisingly, these figs, which are going mouldy, swirled up a bit, but I don't think any of these are edible whatsoever, and I can see the mould inside them. But I'll probably just pick a couple of these off just to have a look at the inside of them. I think these are, is this Verdone? That's Goutte d'Or. Clearly not ripened. Been a bit of a shame, but that's the way things go. But I'm interested to see what the inside of them look like. These figs are, I think, Neapolitana Nigra. Oh no, it's a large red unnamed. They might look dark red, but they've also definitely not ripened. I've got some coloration there on a gyro at the back, so that's looking okay. Morris Burton, you can see back those orange ones. There's quite a few of those ripe, so I should try and pick those as well. These small ones are on my Chocolatino plant. They're quite a sort of an acorny shaped fruit, and again they're starting to change colour now, so I'm quite happy with how they're looking, and I can see some actually very ripe Morris Burton, so I'm going to try and get behind there while it's dark, so I will rush through the video. At the back there, turning orange, I've got some Mount Govala. That's a hybrid persimmon, and it kind of produces quite a large, larger than an American persimmon, but smaller than an Asian persimmon. So they're quite a decent sized fruit, which is why I was pleased I managed to get a Mount Govala. There are various other assorted persimmons around that are orange or still green, which I hope we've got some fuyu as well over there, so I'm hoping they're going to ripen enough to eat in this year. So it's quite exciting really. I should have a few persimmons to try. I don't think there were any pineapple guavas that I can recall on this one here. Oh, it has got a couple of small ones on it. Oh, there's a decent sized one there. Okay, that's quite surprised me. That's much bigger than I expected. And this one is my Coolidge. So that will be the first Coolidge I taste. There's a couple of very tiny ones here, but they're not going to be what I consider edible. But that one there, that Coolidge, is definitely going to be, that's definitely going to be an edible fruit, but obviously not ready to ripen yet. But I think it's safe to leave it. It's going to fall onto the pot. The one behind that, which is an Apollo, has got a couple of small fruits on it, but they're not really what I consider to be an edible size. Let's just pop these fruits on my table, these figs. So I'll cut them open, but I'm absolutely certain they won't be edible. Now my large in-ground fig has actually got a couple more figs in bags. I mean, they're splitting because of the rain. I think I'll pick them, but they actually look as if they might be edible. Let's have a look. They're up there. I'll have to get the ladder out. The problem is at this time of year, well, with the excessive rain we've been having, it's been causing the figs to split, which is a shame because it kind of spoils them. Let's go back to what we've got here. Look, these are lotus persimmons here, and they've turned sort of like squashy black, which makes me wonder if it might even be edible. Let's just see. Finally lost its astringency. Last year I had them, they were stringent, I picked them too soon. But as I said, these ones here, once they go this sort of black colour, you can see it splitting actually, it's got a bit of mould on it, so I wouldn't eat that one. But amazingly, these ones here, looks like a little sort of blueberry almost. Let's squeeze this open, see what the flesh looks like. Looks good. Not astringent. First time I've had a non-astringent lotus persimmon. Okay, this is my Marion pineapple guava here. Small fruits. I don't know if that's typical or just because it's in a pot and it's its first year to fruit. It's got quite a lot of fruits on it, but none of them are bigger than about an inch in diameter, so I probably will get to taste these, but I suspect they'll be disappointing. They're very, very hard still, so certainly not of a decent size. There's no sign of any flower buds on my loquat, or loquat or two. There's one variety there and I can't see any signs of any flowers. And another one here, and again I can see no signs of obvious flowers. So although they're grafted plants, they seem not very keen to flower for me, but at least they're looking really healthy now, so I'm pleased about that. So if we just have a quick wander around, I'm going to squeeze around the back here. This is my Nikita pineapple guava. Got lots of small fruits on it. You can see them, some of them are dropping. They're very small fruits again. I have eaten a few of them this year. Not really big enough to tell. Look, they're falling off of my hands, so they're obviously ready, but they're not large. But I think in time they'll get larger. Now this might be the plant that I decide to put in where my Luma apiculata was. I'm not 100% sure yet, but as I said, that's Nikita. Now the one behind it, which I don't think had any fruits on it, this one is Unique. Now I had a feeling that my Unique did have one, I had a feeling it had one fruit on it. Now the fruit might have dropped and I've missed it, or perhaps I imagined it and didn't. Oh, there it is, tiny. I mean, it's not even going to be edible, is it? Very rough skinned fruit, that one. Obviously the plant's too shaded, so whether or not I put the Unique or the Nikita's Gift into that raised bed remains to be seen. We can have a look here at my Mount Govola, which I'm really, really pleased with. These look as if they're getting close to being ready. Look at those, really good size. for a hybrid persimmon, and it's got plenty on here. None of them have gone squashy soft yet, but I'm trying to leave them as long as possible on the tree because I'm hoping I'll get some sweetness into them. Let's wander through the back here and have a look at my Morris Burton. Don't have to worry about this black flecking on them, that's just sort of sugars under the skin, and I believe that when I looked over here there was one extremely ripe one. Yeah, when they go a sort of a translucenty orange like this one, let's see if we can pick that up without damaging it, that means that they are edible. Easier said than done to pick that, but that's squashy soft, so that's going to be edible and hopefully not astringent. I haven't really bagged these because there's so many of them, and to be honest the birds don't seem to be very interested with them. This fruit here is Fuyu. Is on a Fuyu. It's not large, but it's starting to change colour. They're meant to be non-astringent if it's a genuine Fuyu, but I'm inclined to leave them until they turn an orange colour rather than picking them now. But there's actually quite a few on it, and this one here is actually split, but I'm going to leave it anyway because there's nothing you can do to protect it. It's just going to be that some of them split occasionally. So those are my, as you can see, the persimmons are progressing really nicely. This one here is a Tipo, which I believe is very similar to the Sharon fruit. I think this is an astringent one. So they're getting a bit of colour on them as well now. I've bagged one to protect it, but to be honest, they don't seem to be being touched by birds or animals. And this, as I said, is my Chocolatino up here. It's more of an acorn shaped fruit, and there's really quite a lot of those on. They're not large, but still pleased with how they're doing. Let me see if I can squeeze my way out again. It's a bit of a jungle to walk through here. I need to have a big reorganisation this winter. This is my pot growing Triumph here, which has produced a few small fruits this year. They don't really do very well in pots, to be honest. Oh, there's one fallen off there. Put that in my back pocket. So that's okay. And the one next to it is a mammoth, and that's produced a few very small fruits. This one here is my Gemini. I have done some tastings on those. Here's one that's dropped, another one here. So you can see that I'm harvesting plenty of Gemini fruit, and there's quite a lot of variation in size. These will be edible. So again, I'll come pick those up again in a minute. I'm going to get a ladder and pick these 2 or 3 figs that have turned dark red on this, because they may or may not be edible. There's no point leaving them on the tree. And that is, oh, there's a fig there that's dropped off, so that's probably gone mouldy. I didn't realise it had all dropped off. We'll have a look at some of the figs anyway in a separate video. So that's my quick garden tour. Shame about the figs not ripening this year, but unfortunately that's the weather we've had and the continuous rain. You can see some of the lovely autumn colours of some of these persimmons, which is wonderful. And you've actually seen a few live fruits harvested as well today. So on the whole, I'm pretty pleased. Shame about all these figs, but I've got loads of preserved ones from last year, so I don't need to worry about picking those. I'll just leave them to rot on the tree, and I'm going to get a ladder before it gets too dark and see if I can pick off these handful of figs and see if any of them are edible. So that's my quick garden tour, just show you the nerines. Thanks for joining me on it. It's a little bit quicker than normal because it's getting dark and it's going to rain again, plus I've got a few things to do before it gets dark, but I just thought I'd quickly run through the video and let you see what's edible, what isn't edible, what's turning colour. And then obviously as these persimmons ripen, I'll feature them in standalone videos and we can do some tastings and see if any of them are edible. So thanks for watching that video. Please give me a thumbs up. Welcome to share if you think anybody would be interested. Please subscribe to my channel and remember to click on the bell to get updates on new videos as they come out. I'll catch up with you all soon. Brett out for now.